Hello, everybody, wherever you may be, from coast to coast, and sea to shining sea. Welcome back to the Shack. This is Ham Radio Live. Thank you so much for coming today. I sincerely do appreciate it. It's Sunday, August 29, 2021. 16 years ago, to the very day of Hurricane Katrina in New Orleans. And now we meet Hurricane Ida on the same day. We're going to do a show on that today and also talk about the impact, the current impact that's happening in southern Louisiana. Prayers, of course, with those in Louisiana, especially in the coastal areas. This is a devastating storm, everybody. Away we go. Hello, everybody, wherever you may be. My name is Larry. My call sign is Kilo 7 Hotel November. Man, oh man, we're glad to see you. I didn't think we'd ever get here. I in this day, there's no joke. Yeah, everybody has life, right? I get it. I literally had to call 911 for a homeless person today. No kidding. Having a stroke or a seizure. And their buddy said, could you, Larry, because I know him, I try to give food and help him when I can. And he said, can you please, give us, can you call 911? She's having a seizure. I'm like, yeah, okay. So anyway, and then I lose my wallet. No kidding. Trying to buy dinner. And my wife's birthday's tomorrow, and I have a back injection. Brilliant timing. Told my wife, nope, I'm going to move it. She said, no, you're going to have it done. And, the lady of the house always wins. So I'm sorry I'm late. It's a miracle we're here. We're going to talk about an incredible storm and how ham radio has a very big commitment and a big responsibility to get the word out in times like this of an emergency. Before we do that, let's say some hellos. Hello, Andy Cowley, my mate in the UK. Andy, you're usually always the first one in, and I am so grateful that you are. I was worried we would be too late for you. I pushed as hard as I could to get home. Thank you for being here. Hi, Cliff in Virginia. Welcome back, buddy. Whiskey Delta 4, Oscar Bravo Papa. Cliff, it's always my pleasure to say hello to you. Stephen Bangery from the state of Texas, just a little bit far enough west that they're not impacted by Hurricane Ida. Good evening to you. Good afternoon, I should say. Hope everything is staying safe out there. Same to you, Stephen. My goodness, talk about being close to a terrible, terrible storm. It is bad. Hello to Gunter in Germany, DK50NV. Great YouTube channel. Find his YouTube stuff, and you'll be amazed how hard he works. He really does work hard. And just the amount of time he puts in. Gunter, it's good to have you. Thanks. My brother Bob, courtesy WIFI, good to see you, as well as Rod Clare here from Salem, Oregon. Kilo 7, Lima Alpha Papa is here. Hi, Random PL Productions, good to see you. Better late than never, I guess. Man, I was thinking just scrap the show. But this is way too important to talk about. Toby's here from Germany as well. Delta Oscar 1, Tango Oscar Bravo. Talk about a call sign made for a guy named Toby, right? Ends with T-O-B. Welcome. Good to see you. A very happy Sunday to you wherever you may be. Our whole passion is to try and help you get in ham radio. We try to, and help you license up as well. That's really a passion of mine and of the team that works here, like Gunter and Rod and other folks as well. Hello, Steve Only. Good to see you. Thanks for being here, my friend. First timer, welcome to Ham Radio Live. Happy Sunday. As well as Pobot down in Eugene, Oregon. Hello to you, my friend. Very happy late summer day to you as well. Thanks for coming. All right. If you'd like to contact a radio club, that's first step to get yourself your ham radio license. Find either of these groups. They'll help you. Just hit the contact us bar and they'll hook you up with a radio club near you. Then what you do is you simply just contact them and get together and find out if ham radio is for you. First one to try would be the American Radio Relay League. Find them at www.arl.org. In the UK, the Radio Society of Great Britain at www.rsgb.org. In Canada, the Radio Amateurs of Canada at www.rac.ca. And in Japan, the Japan Amateur Radio League at www.jarl.org. In Australia, the Wireless Institute of Australia is there. They'll help you get yourself licensed. Hit the Contact Us bar at www.wia.org. Like to email the show, hit me up at cqhamradiolive@gmail.com. And if you'd like to help us in our mission to reach people with ham radio, to try and help them get licensed, do what you can. We have a PayPal address at Proverbs 356 at me.com or on Patreon at Ham Radio Live. I'd like to welcome you to the show. Happy Sunday, wherever you are. Corey Law, welcome. Kilo November 4, Yankee Zulu Yankee. My goodness, welcome, first timer. Wow, this is a great day. It's nice that you're here. I'm grateful you are. Thank you, as well as my friend Jim down in Walnut Creek, California. Jim is an excellent Morse code operator, one of the best there is in North America. His call sign, Whiskey 6, Juliet India Mike. Also, welcome to Dirk. Look at this. Papa Al, we got a PA, we got a Papa Alpha in the house. Papa Alpha 1, Bravo Delta. Dirk, it's my honor and privilege to meet you today. Thank you very much for coming. All right, we do have a trivia question. No one could answer this on Friday. I'm bringing it back because I just won't give up. This is an interesting question about music on radio. First song ever played. Okay, here's the question. The first music ever broadcast over the airwaves, this would be, any airwaves at all, so first ones over the radio, was transmitted from Brant Rock, Massachusetts by a guy named Reginald Fessenden. It happened on Christmas Eve of 1906. What was the name of the song he played? Was it A, Jingle Bells, B, Silent Night, C, Oh Holy Night, or D, You're a Grand Old Flag? Hit me up with A, B, C, or D, and we'll certainly let you know which continent gets it right today. Currently, North America has 8 islands on the air with 5. Excuse me, that's like literally one guy down there. His name is Ishmael. He's out of Dominica, and he's been just keeping them going on Islands of the Air. So he's been doing very, very well for them. He's almost got his own division on this trivia question, as well as Europe. Europe has got 2 for the month. So anyway, wow, can't believe we've got Netherlands here. This is great. Dirk, thanks for being here today. That's really a treat. All right, so we got a lot of folks answering the trivia question. Let's see what we can give you for answers today. Andy Cowley, first in from the UK. He says, C, Oh Holy Night. You are correct. Andy, well done. You've answered I think 4 of these yourself. No, 3 for Europe. You got all 3 of them. Wow. Congratulations. You're up with 3. Thank you, Andy. Congratulations. Also, we've got Cliff Bolts answering D, Rod Clare with B, Random Pial came in with C, and Kevin, welcome, mate, all the way from Ireland. Great to see you. Oh, it's always great to see you. Thanks for coming to Ham Radio Live. We're going to take a look at the weather now, and we'll have another trivia question for you today. I've got 2, all right? The weather powered by ICOM. ICOM, for the love of ham. I'm going to add shortwave radio, too. Shortwave, they've got an amazing set of receivers that you can get with ICOM, and they're really good, too. Here's your A1A today. Looks pretty good. We've got some solar numbers to talk about. So we do have some sunspots, solar flares. We have been active. The sun has been very active here the last 36 hours. Take a look. You've got 1, 2, and nearly 3 M-class flares over the last 3 days. So currently, there is a risk of an M4.7 hitting, so that's pretty amazing. K-index also has been way up and down. K5 started us out yesterday, and that's noisy. So it's come all the way down now to a K3. This is current conditions. MUF from 4 hours ago. To give you an idea of how I'm doing the forecast here, take a look. Alaska was at 13.45, but take a look at Brazil. 23.22. Then you stay about the same area there on the equator. Ascension Island, 29.24. Okay. So that's about the dividing line, northern and southern hemisphere. Take a look at Athens at 18.11. Darwin was at 12.5 in the middle of the night. Now look at the MUF. Alaska, 16.21, right in the middle of the day. Boulder, struggling, 10.02, and you can tell it's pretty rough up here in the northern hemisphere. Out of Brazil, 20.56. Ascension Island down to 15.22. Darwin waking up to 11.66. Your ham radio forecast today is going to be interesting. Okay, current conditions out there. We have an SFI today, which is not bad, really, considering it was at 93 a moment ago. Current SFI is 88. Solar number is way up to 77, and that's because of the solar flare activity. That just keeps charging up the solar numbers. So that's why we've got today a 77. Your A index is up at 12, which it should be because of all the solar activity. K index is unsettled at K3, and we've got pretty poor conditions really for HF, but you can get through. We've also got some E-skip in the northern hemisphere. Ham radio forecast and shortwave forecast for today powered by ICOM. Daytime ham radio bands should be 20 and 17 in the northern hemisphere. Southern hemisphere, 15 and possible 12 to add to that. Today you'll get data from 30 to 10 wherever you are in the world. Nighttime ham bands 160, 80, 75, 60, 40, 30. I think you got a 100% chance of 20 meters open until about 90 minutes after sunset. Shortwave today, 31, 25, 22, and 19. Shortwave nighttime today, tonight, 120. 90, 75, 60, 49, 41, 31, 25, 22, and 100% chance of 19 meters goes about till 90 minutes after sunset. So it should be a decent day. Speaking of the guy that's got his own group here within the trivia question, there he is. That's Ishmael. He's 17 going on 18 there in Dominica, and he is literally got his own little group here. He's got 5 of the trivia questions right, all on his own. Talking to Germany on 40 meters right now, and my mate in North Florida. Mike, I was thinking about you with the hurricane. I've got a couple of ham friends down in the New Orleans area, and I'm concerned for them, obviously. Mike joins us from Jacksonville, Florida. His call sign, Kilo Delta 2, Sierra X-Ray Delta. It is really nice to have you today, Mike. Happy Sunday to you. All right, now we'll give you that second trivia question before we get into Hurricane Ida. Question number 2 is this. Which of the choices below does not belong with the others? Okay? You'll get this in a second. Be ready. A, GMT, B, UTC, C, Bantu, or D, Zulu? Hit me up with A, B, C, or D. This is an easy one. So A, B, C, or D, and we'll see who gets it. Europe's coming up fast with 3. We'll find out who gets it right today. We're going to talk about the amazing coincidence, really, of Hurricane Ida and Hurricane Katrina, both on the same day. Believe it or not, 16 years ago today was one of the most catastrophic storms we've ever seen in the United States, and that was Hurricane Katrina. In fact, it changed the way that the U.S. built things like dams and dikes and things like that. So what's happening right now is certainly, it should be much better than it was 16 years ago. And they're coming in like little mosquitoes to a little bit of food left out. Trivia question, which of the following choices does not belong with the others? Feel like the old Sesame Street song. Which of these doesn't belong here? All right. Is it A, GMT, B, UTC, C, Bantu, or D, Zulu? Of course, these have to do with time. They all have to do with time, and has to do with what time it is basically in London. So UTC. All right. So right away, very first, going all the way to the top, Cliff Bolts out of the state of Virginia, Bantu, and he is correct. It is Bantu. Bantu is the right answer. Cliff getting one more for North America. Congratulations. Wow, that's pretty fun. You guys just bang, bang, got them done. Let's take a look at both storms, okay? And we're going to listen to what the ham bands have sounded like today. For folks outside North America, this probably will be interesting. For people outside, maybe not so much, but it's historic. The storm going on right now is hitting the New Orleans area pretty hard. I have some video and audio courtesy of WWL Channel 4 out of New Orleans, which I'm going to credit here. They'll be credited during the video segments. These are right now the way things are in the New Orleans area. So you're seeing pretty much live information within a couple hours. So this is pretty good information about what's going on down there. First, let's take a look at Katrina. Here's what Katrina looked like 16 years ago this day. No kidding. You see how tight the eye was and how really packed the storm was. Let's take a look at Ida. Ida is more spread out, okay? And the rain bands extend out farther. Now, this could be a problem for the people in New Orleans. And the reason why is because the bands that are on the outside, meaning this, of course, we all know it turns counterclockwise. The outer bands that would be to the west and northwest come off the Gulf of Mexico and will keep pounding the area around Lake Pontchartrain and the New Orleans metro. So New Orleans metro area might be in some trouble.
Yeah, Katie, I wanted to update you on a couple of things. The first thing is that there are 9 sewer lift stations that are without power as of about an hour ago, and the Sewerage and Water Board says that that number is probably going to rise or has already risen. That is 9 out of 84 sewer lift stations. Again, this is the dedicated stations to lifting the sewage up and out to Florida Avenue, where the main outfall station is for receiving that and for treating the sewage. So we are not sure exactly how the issue with substation, with an Entergy substation, directly affects all of those, because they get independent power feeding to those sewer lift stations. But there's one that's right nearby here. Station A is actually just behind me and a couple of blocks down on the other side of Armstrong Park. And so we don't know exactly which lift stations are affected, and that's why the mayor was urging people to conserve water at a press conference this morning. Let's take a listen to what she said when I asked her about the sewer lift stations.
On the front end, as Ramsey was giving his update on the infrastructure, talking both Sewerage and Water Board as well as Entergy, we were notified of a power outage relative to the Entergy New Orleans side of the operation, just as confirmed by Councilmember Moreno. Those matters we know have compromised as it relates to the sewer system. That's where the request for water conservation came into play. That still remains active at this particular time. Ramsey, anything you need to add, you can do so now.
Yeah, real quick. So yeah, David, we just got that, which is why those ENO generators are being deployed. Hopefully we'll get through it, but I think for our residents, an overwhelming approach to this storm. If you don't need to use water, don't use it for the moment, okay? For the moment, if you don't need to use water, just be conservative with it.
So that was the city's infrastructure czar, Ramsey Green, specifically talking about the attempt to get Entergy's generators out to those lift stations. Again, we don't have the exact locations of those 9 lift stations that are without power, but the process is ongoing to try to get those back up so that people can use their water, flush their toilets and all that, and not have to worry about that backing up. But they are telling people to conserve water as much as they can for the time being. I also wanted to update you on something that people have been hearing about that we've mentioned in the past, and that is that there's a possibility that there is an offshore oil platform that may have become unmoored in the Gulf of Mexico. This would have been the Shell Mars platform. It's about 150 miles south of New Orleans in the deep, deep water. I want to be clear that no federal agency and Shell have not confirmed that that is the case. They are all looking into it, but cannot get an assessment until they can get out there after the storm has cleared. But I want to make sure that it is clear that this is a floating, tension-connected platform, not one that is a steady structure all the way down. So if it was knocked off its mooring, it would be floating in the Gulf. And it's important to note, Shell says that they had already evacuated that platform prior to the storm of all personnel, and they had shut in all wells that were connected to that platform. So if it is loose, as has been reported by some outlets, and they confirm that after they get out there to assess it, it would not likely to have caused any damage to the bottom of the seafloor where the wells come up and where they're closed in, as we've seen with the Taylor Energy platform that did collapse in 2004. So again, we continue to pursue that to make sure that we get that confirmed if that is the case. But,
okay, so that is courtesy of WWL Television out of New Orleans, Louisiana. Thank you for that feed, by the way. They'll get full credit in the description. Well, there is some live feeding going on YouTube right now. Just one channel I've seen that's been able to kind of keep it out of South Florida. You know, you're hearing basically the NOAA weather. We're going to go a little different than that. I'd like you to hear how ham radio covers hurricanes. This is today. There's 2 cuts, all right? And these are both important because the first one was just before the storm made land, second one after. Let's take a look. And also, please understand, if you want to monitor the frequencies, the 2 emergency frequencies for 40 meters, 7.268. On 20, it's going to be 14.325. Please keep those frequencies open. Here's the first cut.
The radar that the eye of item will landfall along the southeastern coast of Louisiana near Fort Fortin around 11:55 a.m. Central Daylight Time. Need to keep an eye using data from Air Force Reserve reconnaissance aircraft and Doppler radar. Data indicate that either maximum sustained winds at landfall were estimated to be 150 miles per hour. The latest minimum central pressure estimated from reconnaissance aircraft data is 930 millibars or 27.46 inches. Within the past hour, sustained winds of 43 miles per hour and wind gusts of 67 miles per hour were reported at Lakefront Airport in New Orleans. NOAA National Ocean Service Site Gauge in Shell Beach, Louisiana.
All right, so that is ham radio and how it covers major storms like this. Now, this has the ability to be as serious as Katrina. Currently, and we're going to give you a moment to take a look at what it's like right now to drive in New Orleans. No kidding. I got some video for you. Before we do that, let's take a look at how ham radio helps in this situation. Ham radio not only will give the current conditions, like you just heard, but they'll also ask for stations who are in the emergency area, right in the middle of this hurricane, who most likely are going to be on battery power, right, or generator power, but they still can get out. When power goes out, ham radio does it. Take a listen.
5 miles south-southwest to Grand Isle, Louisiana, and about 60 miles southeast to Houma, Louisiana. Maximum sustained winds are still 150 miles per hour. Present movement to the northwest are 320 degrees at 13 miles per hour. Minimum central pressure 933 millibars or 27.55 inches. Out.
Now he says out because he's trying to say that's the end of that segment. Now listen.
Kilo Fox 5, Whiskey Delta Juliet, Alpha Charlie 0, Mike Lima.
Now you're not going to be able to hear the signal come in, unfortunately, but you'll hear, now this is called traffic, obviously. But listen what happened, what the net controller says.
This is Kilo Foxtrot 5, Whiskey Delta Juliet for the Hurricane Watch Net. Are there any stations with emergency or priority traffic? Over. Are there any stations operating under emergency or portable conditions, such as EOCs or shelters with traffic for the net? Over. Are there any low-power, portable, or mobile stations within the affected area of Hurricane Ida that would like to check in now? Over. And are there any net members on frequency who wish to check in at this time? Your call sign. Over.
Right, so that's basically how it works. The emergency nets that come up, and this was announced on ARL a couple of days ago. You got to remember, this hurricane built quickly. I mean, it was really fast. The people in Louisiana didn't even have time to change over the freeway system. Typically, when there's an emergency like a major hurricane that's going to hit, what happens is they will close freeways down and make them all go one direction. So instead of having, say, for example, Interstate 10, which goes near right there through New Orleans, all right, they would make it go fully west into Texas. That's what they would do. All lanes, whether it be normally eastbound and westbound, they would all become westbound. So you would double the amount of traffic you get through. The problem was Ida built so quickly, and because of surface water temperatures, it intensified quickly. I mean, for a while they thought it'd just be a category 2, then maybe a 3, and then a 4. And when it hit today, it was nearly a 5. A 5 is 157 mile per hour winds. This hit at 150 mile per hour winds. That's where it hit the coastline. So what's it like to actually be on the ground right now in New Orleans? And I will get to Andy just a second, okay? I promise. We'll address that thing. Here's what's like right now in New Orleans, Louisiana.
Yeah, Katie, I wanted to update you on a couple of things. The first thing is
All right, that's the other video. This is driving right now through New Orleans, courtesy of WWL TV out of New Orleans, Louisiana.
Yeah, Katie, I wanted to update you on a couple of...
If you kind of see that, zoom in for a little bit. Watch that rain hitting the rooftops. That wind, you see the trees in the back. This is some of the more significant kind of effects of the storm that we've seen in terms of wind and rain so far. It is really coming down at this point. And obviously you're watching from your perspective here and the safety of your environment, but some of the wind gusts we're really feeling on the unit at this point. Nothing devastating for us here, but it's significant enough for us to kind of feel it. Yeah.
Front corner?
Yeah.
Hit that corner.
Jeff is the photographer here. I'm generally a person that's in front of the camera, so I apologize for the shaky camera work, but I don't necessarily want Jeff to drive and work the camera. But look at the rain coming off the roof and what the wind's doing. It's just a sampling of what this storm is delivering to this part of Jefferson Parish and Metairie. All right, Jeff, if you feel safe enough, let's head back on the road here, make our way over. I'm going to switch back over to the driver POV so it's a little bit more stable for you all. Getting the same perspective as Jeff Hackett, our navigator here in the Mobile Forecast Center.
Again, this courtesy of WWL TV in New Orleans.
We're still in Kewanee, coming up on Cleveland right now, it looks like. Hold on here, is this the house, Jeff? And take a look here, everybody. Again, this is so far the more dramatic, one of the more dramatic images that we've seen. I'm going to switch over.
What he's talking about is that tree uprooted at the curb, almost on top of that house.
Familiarize myself with which cameras to use. I'm going to wipe that over. Apologize for the shoddy camera work. Yes, that is a tree down on a house near the intersection of Kewanee and Cleveland.
It's leaning up against a cypress tree that is holding it from hitting the house.
And Jeff has informed me it is leaning up against a cypress tree, which is preventing it from entering the house in many regards. So it's unfortunately leaning on the house. We certainly hope that it stays that way throughout the storm. But as you can see, the wind is pushing it towards the property and towards the roof of the house.
There you go. That's out of New Orleans, Louisiana. Thank you to WWL Channel 4 out of New Orleans. And they're right now on emergency generators. Yeah. They their power's been out a bunch of times. In fact, find their stream. Seriously, if you want to watch this live, go to WWL in New Orleans and you'll see it. And what's interesting is when they get to the studio cuts, you can hear the roof. You really can. I wanted to put that on here and show you a little bit of that, as well as flying. There's a great video they put together of flying through the storm chasers going right through the eye of the storm. Beautiful. And at that point, this is no lie, I literally was asked by a homeless man who's a dear friend of mine here in town to please call 911. His friend that was sitting next to him was having a seizure. And at that point, that became a lot more important. So, all right. That's our Sunday show, just about Hurricane Ida. That's it. Please keep these frequencies open. This is very important, especially in North America. I know there's a lot of contests going on. I get it, but this is human life. And it's going to start out with a little bit of, well, not really, I guess it won't. This is going to be very important. I really want to make sure if there's one thing we get clear, monitor these frequencies. You can find them through, different SDRs, web SDRs. I found the better ones that work for me were through Texas, okay, through both Dallas and Houston, right? The Boca Raton one that I use typically to sweep Cuba, that was picking up the 20-meter one better, but it wasn't real consistent. There's a lot of QRN with it. So, the ones out of Texas, Houston, Dallas, I think it's called Fort Kearny, those are the two that you'll really hear these very well. The problem is that they're fairly close still to New Orleans. So the better chance for you to hear, emergency calls out of Louisiana are going to be on 40 meters if you're that close. If you want to listen on 20, try and hear someone trying to call out. If they're QRP, definitely Texas. If they're going to be running, even 100 watts on 20, it's possible you'll hear them better, maybe a little farther away. Could be out in Nebraska or up high in Colorado. But keep these frequencies open, please. On 40 meters, 7.268, and on 20, 14.325. I want to thank you for coming to Ham Radio Live. Let me get your final comments. Andy, I did see it, all right? Now, you were close, and what I want to tell you, it's really important on the trivia questions and stuff, which is cool. Andy's a brilliant guy. Andy's really smart. When you answer them on your end, you'll see on the stream, right? Because you're watching the comments. But how it comes into me is different. And in this case, here's what it was. I'll show you exactly what happened, right? We had Gunter come in. Who in Germany did you make contact with, Ishmael? Next one, right away, Cliff Bolts was C, and then you came in. That's the way it came in to me. So it was really weird. But also, Mike got it right out of Jacksonville, Kilo Delta 2, Sierra X-Ray Delta. Rod in Salem, Oregon got it. He got it right. Good job. Kilo 7, Lima Alpha Papa. Kevin, my mate in Ireland, got it right as well with C. So, yeah, that's right. Dirk got it as well in the Netherlands with C. Great work, you guys. You guys are sleuths. You guys are sleuths. And Toby, you're right. This could turn into a really nasty storm. I'll watch the storm on the maps and on the video since yesterday. WWL is a great live source because they're on generator power, but they're continuing to transmit. WWL here on YouTube, great place to see live what's going on with Hurricane Ida. All right. I appreciate y'all coming today. Thank you so much, wherever you're coming from in the world, all the way from Ishmael and Dominica to my friend Gunter in Germany and all of y'all in between. This is truly a treat for me to spend some time with you today. There will be no show tomorrow. I have a back procedure being done, and it's going to keep me down for a couple of days. So I hope maybe I could talk my wife into a Tuesday show, but she's probably going to tell me no. Anyway, might be Wednesday for sure to be back. But, hopefully I'll feel better, which would be great. Also, quick hello to Sean in Great Britain. Gosh, Sean, it's great to see you so late. My goodness. Sean, mate, have a good evening, good night's sleep, and a good rest. His call sign 2 Echo 0 X-Ray Bravo Tango. It's always my pleasure to see you. And conditions here are very, very tough in North America. Just to understand, 20 meters is real iffy. It's just nasty right now. For example, if I turn on the 5000, it has a great front end on it. Here's 20. on this frequency, this emergency frequency. And that's what the VRF turned right up to the maximum gain I can get on that frequency, as well as trying to use noise reduction to bring it in. It's just 20 is really awful right now. In 40, we're just too far away here in Oregon to pick that up from, where they're transmitting from, as well as the Louisiana emergency calls. So, all right. Hey, hope to see you Tuesday, but if not, it'll be for sure on Wednesday. God bless you wherever you're coming from. Thank you for coming to Ham Radio Live. It's been a fun time to show this about what Ham Radio does in times of emergency. This was a special show because it's the first time we've ever had the chance to really show ham radio in action at its finest, which I think is with human safety. I think some people, when they see antennas go up in backyards, they immediately freak out. But boy, when something like this hits, right, that may be your very best friend sitting there in that house that you can't get to because it's just too doggone nasty outside to open up your windows or your doors. That may be your only communication outside your neighborhood. So thanks again to WWL out of New Orleans for the great video and audio. And thank you to all the people who are volunteers working to keep those frequencies safe and hams and people safe throughout this terrible storm. Keep the people in Louisiana in your prayers, would you? Ida is not going to be over tonight. The worst, I think, is yet to come because the storm surge is past, but all that rain, all those rain bands are going to come right over Lake Pontchartrain. And if you know that area very well, New Orleans is right there, and it's going to get hammered. So keep them in your prayers. Let's sign off with one of my favorites. It's one of those ones that'll make you smile. So we'll end with a smile. Out of New Zealand, the famous Kiwi sign-off. God bless you wherever you may be. My name's Larry. My call sign's Kilo 7 Hotel November. Wherever you may be, God bless you, and thanks for watching Ham Radio Live.
Good night. We hope you've enjoyed Channel 2's programs. However, the World Parade continues on Sky. News as it happens direct to your living room 24 hours a day from the world's leading and most authoritative news gatherers. Tune in now to Sky News on the Sky Entertainment Channel. It's Good Night from Channel 2.
It's gonna be a short game and I gotta get home for lunch.